Hey, welcome back. Glad you could be with me today. Today I want to talk about, eventually we're going to get to it, is I'm going to talk about, basically what I've been working on with that worried horse. And I'm going to talk about some of the things that I've been doing with her. But first I'm going to go back to, I'm going to talk a little bit about a lot of the things that I've talked about in previous videos, including some recent ones, and I'm going to connect them to what I've been doing and show you how it applies, because I don't just talk about this stuff, I do it. And I want to give you some examples. I always talk about, little progress is still progress. Any progress is adequate. And even tiny little bits, it's still progress. You're moving in the right direction. And I want to talk about that. And recently I did a video about how little bits make big bits. And I want to talk about that too, because that's how you do things, a little bit at a time. It's kind of like, we got a horse trailer here behind me. And, I use that as an example quite often because it's a common problem that people have is, trying to get their horse in a horse trailer. And I've said before, sometimes we get things messed up. We make our goals a little too big and look at big pictures and forget about all the little pieces that make it up. And when it comes to the horse trailer, we think the goal is to get the horse in the trailer. Well, eventually that might be true, but it starts off with little pieces. And we don't just, it's not about getting the horse in the trailer. It actually is about progress. And sometimes it's a case of, if the horse, by the end of the day, if you spend an entire day working on it, and at the end of the day the horse is 2 steps closer to the trailer than it was before, you've made progress. Well, that's kind of what it's all about. And, there's always little things that make big things. I can't emphasize that enough. And, sometimes we got to start out small and make things work out so that, make it fit the horse. It's not always about what we want. Sometimes it's about what works best for the horse. It's not always about what we want to achieve. It's not just our goal that we need to be concerned with. Sometimes we got to be concerned with, what the horse needs and what's best for the horse. And I've also talked lots about how we got to be flexible and get creative and use our imagination to make things that are going to work. And when I get to showing you what we're doing with that horse, you'll get to see what I'm talking about, because a real good example, I had to get flexible and use my imagination a little bit because we had to do things just a little bit different. But that's okay. We still made progress. And in my mind, we made pretty darn good progress, I think. Yeah, I think so. Well, anybody that was watching me would have thought I was nuts. I got so excited about it. Yeah, buddy, how you doing? See? Always got horses around. Never know where they're going to show up. This guy in particular, he always comes to say hi to me. Don't you, buddy? But, this guy too. He's not the one that we're going to talk about later, but even with him, we've had to adjust things a little bit to make them work for him. So that's what we're going to talk about. Just let me go get that other horse and I'll show you what we've been doing. Okay, now we have gone and gotten our horse here. We can talk about what we've been working on with her. And like I said, it's got all to do with all the other things I've said about going slow and doing things in little pieces and making progress that much at a time. It's not always real quick, and depending on what you're working on, could be a long time. Every horse is different, and some things go fast, some things don't go so fast. And this one here, she has presented me with some new problems I've never encountered before. Now, in a recent video, I showed you how I could get her to side pass without even touching her. And when we get the horse to side pass really good, going both away and towards me, and both from both sides, that's when we usually, well, take that barrel over there, and we get them to side pass over that. But she was having none of that. Get her anywhere near the barrel, and she'd start getting all worried. And well, best we got her about that far over top of the barrel. Never did get her to go all the way over and back. Couldn't do it. And whenever she'd take a step in the right direction, I'd stop and rub on her and tell her she's a good girl. Now, horses have a lot of muscle in the neck, but I happened to notice that hers were particularly hard, like rocks, actually. So it was like, okay, that barrel is too much for her. She cannot handle that. You know, because I couldn't make any more progress. We got her near the barrel. I could already tell, because rather than just holding my hand out to get her to side pass, I was actually pushing on her. I don't like having to do that. That tells me there's some resistance. Even right now, she you know, if you're paying attention, notice how she's looking at that barrel. She's concerned about that barrel. It's okay, dear. You're not going to go near that barrel. It's just here, and that's why it's way over there. Because I don't want her getting worried. But anyhow, I figured that barrel's too much, obviously, for her. She can't handle that. So we got to come up with something smaller. And this is where I say you got to get flexible, use your imagination. And so I started thinking, well, what do we got around here that I can use? You know, I know we got a couple of those jolly balls. Well, unfortunately, the dog likes them more than the horses, and they've kind of gone missing. So I couldn't find one of those. So I had to come up with something else. Hey, I got an idea. We happen to have some rubber feed pails around here. Now this one here doesn't have a handle on it, which makes it even better yet, because I don't want her getting her leg through a handle and having a pail stuck on her leg. That'd really freak her out. But even this pail, I set it down on the ground upside down like this so it wouldn't roll around and blow away and whatever. And if she happened to step on it, it's rubber, it ain't going to hurt it, and it's not going to hurt her either. So it's a perfect tool for the job. But she wasn't cool with that either. I actually had a real hard time. I did manage to get her to go over it, but she really wasn't good with it, never got any better with it. So we thought, well, no, we're going to have to go even smaller yet. What do we got? Well, it's actually a tiny bit bigger around, but it's not quite as high. A little feed tub here. So this is what we've been working with. We took this thing and threw it down on the ground there, like that, and had her side pass over that. Now even that, she wasn't super cool with, and it took quite a while to get her to go over it. But she did eventually go over it, and each time she went over it, she got a little better about it. And I'm going to see if I can get her to do it, just to give you an idea of what we've been doing. There we go. There we go. Good girl. Good girl. There we go. Okay. That wasn't real pretty, and I actually did have to put a little pressure on her side to get her to do it. It was not my choice. I don't like doing it that way, and today she's actually not very good about it. Yesterday she was better. I did this a couple times yesterday, and you know, each time she got a little bit better. But that's what I'm talking about, you know, progress. It's a little bit at a time. And the very first time she went over, I got pretty darn excited. I thought that was pretty remarkable because, well, for her, any other horse, I go straight to the barrel. With her, I can't do that. And that's where, like I said, got to get a little creative, got to get a little imaginative, figure out what we can use, start small. And that's the key, is start small and don't expect huge amounts of progress. There we go. Good girl. And there we go. Have we got the barrel yet? No, heck no. We aren't to the barrel yet, but that's okay. She went over that thing. I'm happy with that. Wasn't much, but it's a start, and that's what you got to do sometimes. You got to start small, accept those little bits that make the big bits. Take what you can get, and you know, this is an example right here of I practice what I preach. You know, I don't just talk about this stuff. And first time I got her to go over that thing, we did it maybe that much at a time. get her to move towards it just a tiny bit, stop, rub on her a bit, tell her she's a good girl. Let her stand there for a second, well, a few seconds, whatever, and then ask her to take another step. And we made the progress one step at a time. We didn't just say, hey, we're going over the thing and that's it. No, we did it one step at a time. And we started small with something that she could handle because, well, in her case, that barrel over there, that's too much for her. She can't handle that thing. So we had to start off small. That's okay. Eventually she's going to be side passing over the barrel, but I just wanted to do this one to show you what I'm working on and how we've changed it up a little bit. Instead of the barrel, we started with something a whole lot smaller. Well, actually, we started with something quite a bit smaller, and that wasn't even small enough. We had to go even smaller yet. And she's still not real comfortable with it, but that's okay. You know, she's going over it now. She's still not real comfortable with it, but she's improving. Even just now, we did it twice, and the second time was much better than the first time. I barely even touched her with my fingers. I didn't push hard or nothing like that. So it's just an example of, you know, how you can, you know, just make your progress as much as, you know, whatever it takes. You know, it's big or small, it doesn't really matter. Your progress is always progress if you're moving in the right direction. And, you know, like I said, example with the trailer, you know, if at the end of the day your horse is 3 steps closer to that trailer than it was in the beginning, you've made progress. You know, sure, the horse isn't in the trailer yet, so what? You made progress, and that's all that matters. And just like a video I did a little while ago on picking up the hoof, I actually had to do that in 2 parts. A lot of people think it's pretty simple, just go over to the horse and pick up a hoof. No, it's not that simple. There's a whole lot of stuff involved, and prior to that you got to go through. There's different ways of doing it, and well, even after the fact, I left stuff out, and I even did an add-on later on in the 3rd video, and I still left stuff out. There's still, man. But that's what happens when you don't script anything. Oh, on that note, I finally figured out why I don't have a great number of views on my videos. It means I'm doing it right. Because I've noticed something, because I watch lots of YouTube videos myself, and I've noticed the ones that are, you know, blatant destruction and nothing more than entertainment have got lots of views. The ones that are actually instructional and educational get very few views. And so well, I guess that says something about the people out there, that what they're attracted to, unfortunately. But it just tells me that if I'm not getting many views, it's probably because what I'm doing is right, not just entertainment. Because I'm not here to entertain you, I'm here to educate you, hopefully. I'm not saying I'm always right, but I'm going to hopefully make you think about things. So, you know, like I said, doing things in little bits. Slow progress, and you'll get there eventually. That's all that matters. Eventually you get there. Don't put time constraints on anything. Don't make your goals too big. If you have to, make your goal a little smaller, or a lot smaller if you have to. It doesn't matter, because once we get her to go over that, we've made progress. It doesn't matter that we started small. We're going to work up to something a little bigger. Maybe the pail, and then maybe we'll put the pail on top of the feed tub. Maybe we'll use a bigger feed tub, and eventually we'll work our way up to the barrel a little bit at a time. We're not going to do it all at once. So that's what you need to know. Do it slow. Take your time. Start small. Whatever works. So one of the questions that I have been asked is, oh yeah, you're not afraid of the barrel now, are you? I don't have the lead on. She knows I'm not going to try and make her side pass over the thing, so she's got no fear of it. She's a very smart horse. She knows what's coming up. Anyhow, back to what I was talking about. I have been asked, why do I teach a horse to side pass over a barrel? A lot of people would consider that to be circus tricks. No practical purpose whatsoever. Not true at all. 100% practical, in fact, quite a few practical purposes to it. Having an obstacle like that underneath the horse and getting the horse willing to encounter it and go over it, that is a very, very significant factor. If you're riding a horse and you have to step over a log on the trail or whatever the case may be, you want a horse that's not going to get excited about it. That's part of the purpose of doing this. There's another part too. Actually, there's several parts, and I'm going to talk about them all, because that was kind of one of the things I wanted to do in this video, is talk about why I'm doing it in the first place. Because, like I said, once I get the horse good with side pass, and I get it to side pass over the barrel, well, sometimes you might actually want your horse to side pass over an obstacle. Well, in general, you want the horse good with obstacles underneath it. You also want it good with things touching its legs, and occasionally that's going to happen when they're side passing over the barrel. They're going to touch their legs against it. In her case, when she touches her legs against that thing, she gets very, very excited. Well, at least when we're trying to side pass over it. You've seen the video of her jumping over barrels. Barrels don't bother her, not in general. And as you can see right now, I don't even have a lead on, and she's standing there that far away from the barrel. She doesn't care. Anyhow, so you got the objects underneath the horse that it gets used to, things touching its legs that it gets used to. Both very, very good when you're riding. And the other one, which is, it's part of it, is the side pass. By getting the horse to side pass over the barrel, every time you do that, it gets better at side passing. And that is something that is very handy in the saddle. It's not essential, and it's not something that everybody teaches their horse. But I do, because anybody that's ever done ranch work with a horse knows how valuable a side pass could be. It's not just something you do in dressage. It's actually a very, very functional and practical movement of the horse to be able to move up beside something if you want to reach something. For example, open a gate from the horse's back. Close a gate from the horse's back. All these things, do anything from the horse's back, requires being able to side pass, most of the time anyhow. So it's a very, very handy maneuver to have down and have the horse doing well. So side passing over a barrel, well, you work on your side passing, you work on obstacles under the horse, you work on obstacles touching their legs. So it's actually a threefold thing. It's not just a circus trick for entertaining people. It's actually got practical applications to it, and that is why we do it. Well, taking it slow and easy definitely works. Going slow, little bits. I'll show you what we've accomplished just in a few minutes. We've only done this a couple times now, but well, prior to that first one, we'll say maybe 15 minutes between the first one you saw me do and this one. And I'm going to show you what she can do now by just going real slow and starting small. Let's see. Well, you can see the feed tub on the floor there. Now this time I'm going to see if I can even do it without even touching her. There we go. And you'll notice I did not even touch her. Good girl. There we go. There we go. Oh, remember I said to get her side passing both ways. Well, we do that from the other side as well, but I just wait. You understand what I mean when I say side passing both directions. I mean away from me and towards me. And getting a worried horse to side pass towards you over an obstacle, that's a little bit of a trick, and it definitely requires patience. But again, doing things in order, like I've talked about that too, is first we get her to go over it away from us both directions, and when she's comfortable with that, then we can ask her to come towards us. We don't start with that, so it's just another case of doing things in, one step at a time and doing them in order, because if she's too worried about going over that thing, I'm not going to be able to make her do it. And there's no point in even asking her to do it until she's comfortable enough with it that she's ready to do it. And that's what I like. And you'll notice this little stick thing here. I would have used my stick without the little thing on the end of it, but it's in the other room. So I used this one. It happened to be handy. It doesn't matter, but you'll also notice I was not hitting her with it. The most I will ever do is actually tap her with it, but she knows how to do this well enough now that I don't even have to touch her with it. In fact, most times all I got to do is just hold my hand up. Hello, dear. There we go. And there you go. You get to see what happens when you take your time, go slow, do things a little at a time, and you make progress. See, there you go. Now you know. 15 minutes worth of work, and you can see what we've accomplished here. And the first time she actually went over that thing was yesterday. I think she did it, I got her to do it maybe 3 or 4 times. She definitely was not comfortable with it yet, and you saw in the very first little bit there, which was the first time we did it today. She's still not comfortable with it. Within 15 minutes, you can see what we accomplished by going slow and starting small. And that is what I wanted to show you, because I just thought that was so important, the whole concept of what we're doing, going slow and starting small and doing things in pieces, step by step. You know, like I said, you know, first you get her to go away from you, then you get her to go to you. And before we even tried that, she had to be good at side passing in the first place. So, you know, we had to do that. And before we could do that, she had to be good with leading. So all these things all go in order, one step at a time, a little bit here and a little bit there, all these little pieces, you put them together, and now all of a sudden we got a horse that'll side pass over the feed tub. Pretty soon she'll be side passing over a barrel, and eventually she'll be doing it at liberty as well, because once she is comfortable with it and knows how to do it, and I make sure I'm clear all the time in my requests, it's not going to be very hard to get her to do it. You know, it's something I've said in one of my previous videos quite some time ago, actually. I should probably do that one again, but really, you know, I primarily do liberty work with my horses. I enjoy that stuff a lot. And it actually just kind of started by accident, because it was something I needed to do in working with one of my horses, and it just evolved from there. But, you know, a lot of people get, you know, rather fascinated by it and think it's something pretty neat. And, well, liberty work is just groundwork without the lead on. That's all it is. If you get your groundwork really, really good, you too can do liberty work. If the horse trusts you and you're clear, yeah, a little at a time. Good girl. Have a good day.